What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paula J. Anthony, and today we're going to be talking about how being brutally honest with yourself can put you in the right path, right? How being brutally honest with yourself can put you on the right path. And I'm going to start by opening it up with this passage right here. If you're brutally honest, life will push you in the right direction. Say what you want. Say how you feel. Say what you really think. You'll move towards your calling like a rock flowing downstream. Don't let lies block you. They build up when the gap between your true self and external self widens. The bigger that filter gets, the harder it is to break. Be raw, real, and relentless. And despite the cost, your world will open up. And so I open it up with that phrase because I feel like we go through life so bombarded with so much information that it clouds our own judgment, our judgment of life and the judgments that we have on ourselves. So being brutally honest with yourself is literally how it states. It's just shrinking the gap between who you currently are and who you desire to be, or even who you once was and who you currently are into who you desire to be, right? And this kind of brings me to a philosophy based on a book that I was reading. It's called the Lao Tzu Tao Te Ching, right? And this book talks about the art of flow, right? About being more in a flow state, about allowing more things to flow into your life rather than being so rigid and so hard about the things that are happening in your life, right? The opening of this book starts off by saying this. Well, not really the opening, but I just have a few chapters that I really find fascinating, and I really think that they speak to the aspect of being brutally honest with yourself, right? Don't rush. Rush ahead. Oh, dang. I typed that wrong. It's okay. I'll cut this out. When you're rushing ahead, you don't get too far. Or should I say, those who rush ahead, that's what I'm trying to say. Those who rush ahead don't get very far. Those who stand on tiptoes don't stand firmly. Those who try to outshine others dim their own light. We get in our own way, right? That's what this passage is talking about. It talks about how we typically get in our own way a lot of the times, and we don't just allow things to happen in our lives as they appear to be, because we want to be in control of everything, because we lived a life that was outside of our control for so long that we have a desire to be in control of things, because we feel as though if we're in control of things, things will happen in a more reasonable manner, or things will manifest and materialize themselves in a way that is more favorable to us and to the ones in our lives. But when we try to do that, when we try to take control of everything in our lives, that's when things tend to fall apart, right? When we try to run and rush to get everything done, we get nothing done. And I'm guilty of that as well. Like, I'll be running 1,000 miles an hour, but really I just be running in one place, right? Running in one place, getting nothing done, thinking that, oh, I'm doing all of this busy work, but really all of this busy work is not getting me any results. And a lot of that stems from us not being honest with ourselves and not being honest with our circumstances. Being brutally honest with yourself is saying, look, bro, you're doing way too much and you're getting no results from the things that you're doing. You need to chill out, you need to slow down, and you need to take accountability for all the things that are happening in your life and pace yourself. You're not going to get everything done at one time. You've gotten things wrong in the past, but that's the past. You've learned from your mistakes. So grow and execute with precision. That is being brutally honest with yourself, right? And let me tell you about being brutally honest with yourself, right? Being brutally honest with yourself is about governing yourself and being a good leader of self and of others. Being brutally honest is also about trusting yourself more. When you're honest with yourself, The world will bring you the things that you truly desire. The world does not, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, does not respond to what you want. It responds to who you are. It responds to your character. So if you are playing a certain character in your life and that character is not delivering the results that you desire, it's time for you to change that character. It's time for you to take off the mask. It's time for you to start being honest and truthful with who you are, where you are, and where you really want to be. That is the only way you can start to live the life that you truly desire and get out of your own way. Another passage that I really find fascinating in this law is those who are stiff and rigid are the disciples of death. Those who are soft and yielding are the disciples of life. The rigid and stiff will be broken. The soft and yielding will overcome. And what is this? And what this talks about and how it correlates to being brutally honest with yourself is being brutally honest with yourself is about being more allowing and more in flow. When you're rigid and when you're all stiff and when you take life so seriously, it's going to deliver you some unsavory results. It's going to deliver you things that are just going to make you more stiff and more rigid and more uptight about life. And it's going to give you a negative preconceived notion about life that's not true. It's only based on what you believe in that moment and moments ahead and moments forward. But when you're soft and yielding, and we're not talking about soft like, in the context of how society views soft, but we're just talking about being more allowing. We're talking about being in flow. We're talking about submission, right? Not submission to a thing, but submission to the flow, the feeling, the access to the universe, being in flow with that. Like it stated before, those who are rigid and stiff will be broken, but those who are soft and yielding will overcome. So if you're in a certain situation right now, it can make you stiff and rigid. It can make you hard and rigid. And you can stay in that rigidness for so long to where that's all that you ever experience. But throughout that process, you learn to be more yielding. You learn to be more allowing. You learn to be more in flow because you understand what it's like to be in that predicament, right? So now you're in a flow state. Now you're allowing more things to enter into your life because you understand what it means to be in this rigid aspect of your life, and nobody wants to live in that. You don't want to live in that right now. So part of being brutally honest with yourself is understanding that, yes, these circumstances are making me a rigid person, and the circumstances are not as beautiful or not as, wonderful as I want them to be. However, once I allow myself to be in a state of flow, once I allow myself to be yielding and be more submissive to the energies, to the blessings that the universe is trying to deliver to me, once I'm in that state, then I overcome. Then I become the greatest version of myself. But you know what's funny about that? You can never become yielding without going through that stiff period. You can never become more allowing without going through that closed off period where it seems like nothing's coming in or nothing's flowing in. You can never have one without the other. It's a balance. So, here's a quote by Alan Watts. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. And what does that mean? Oftentimes, we're stirring the pot. We're stirring the pot more and more of the chaotic chaos that we're living in, right? We just keep on adding more and adding more to it. But once you start to be more calm, right? Once you actually start to just be more at peace and more at ease with yourself. And let me tell you something, right? Being brutally honest with yourself is about stirring the pot, right? Because stale water, when it's not moving, can turn toxic, right? Can be volatile, right? It can be very bad for you. So with being honest with yourself, you have to stir that pot. But at the same time, you have to also be willing to be still and be focused and be in a flow state. And then allow the thoughts and allow the brutal honesty that you're feeling to integrate with this level of trust and assurance that you have with yourself. So being brutally honest with yourself is about integrating as well. It's about integrating every aspect of who you are, the good, the bad, and the ugly and the indifferent, right? Once you start to accept certain aspects of yourself, then you start to allow more good things to come into your life because your perception has changed. The Lao says, do you want to rule the world or do you want to control it? Honestly, I don't think you can do either one. Here's why. The world is a sacred vessel and cannot be controlled. You will only make it worse if you try. It may slip through your fingers and disappear. It's like I said before, it's about releasing that control. It's about releasing the things that have control over your life. That's what this statement is talking about. It's about releasing the things that have control over your life, because when you start to be honest with yourself brutally, when you start to be brutally honest with yourself, you start to release control. You start to release control of the past. You start to release control of the past, and you start to allow the present to fill you with grace, with love, with joy, with peace, with happiness. Because a lot of the times, our past is in control of who we currently are. Because we go through certain things in our lives and we carry that with us. And in some cases, we try to bury it. We try to just bury it real deep just so we can get through the day, get through the week, get through the month, get through the year, right? But the more you bury and pack that in, it's only going to get worse and worse until it just explodes in the most unforeseen circumstances. So being brutally honest with yourself is about unpacking all of that baggage, right? Because when you're able to unpack all of that baggage, now you get to release control, right? The past releases control over you. And now you can start stepping into your present, which allows you to reach a higher trajectory towards your future. And that's the essence of being brutally honest with yourself. So I hope that was able to help. I hope you found some value in that. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for allowing me to be on this journey with you. And I truly believe we do better when we grow together. So let's continue to grow with one another. And if you found this inspiring or helpful or motivating in any way, shape, or form, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. But most importantly, leave a comment. Leave a comment in the comment section and let me know what you got from this. And let me know what are some things that you're going to start being brutally honest with yourself about and start releasing control and start to release the control of those things so that way you can step into your true power. So until next time, peace and progress.